Hello? Hello. Yes, this is what I was trying to find. Welcome to the live stream. Yeah, I'm gonna be, talking about my newest album, which I released today. So, yeah, that's what this stream is basically going to be. I'm going to explain my thought process making every single song. Also, I'm very sorry for having the bug on Rain. I accidentally did the wrong thing when beginning making this, uploading the album. So I accidentally uploaded the wrong song, which is logical. That's something that happens sometimes, but I'm just sorry for that. I have a list of things that I have to do here. The first thing that I'm going to explain, the code name for this project was called City 178. Small little reference to that in the first song title, which is also 178. You know, very cool stuff, you know. And the song that I'm talking about, 178, that's this project file. I originally made this for a D&D one-shot that I was going to do, along with Rain I also made for that, and that's basically where the idea started. Also, Heads and Tails are also from that same D&D campaign. So that is what this is supposed to be. Like, it was supposed to be a D&D campaign, but then I thought I could make an album of this, because it's just cool. Some cool ideas, so... I started with this. I started with a C-sharp major 7, I think, or minor 7. Anyway, this chord, then this chord, and then I thought, okay, I like this chord progression. And I thought, but, well, it feels weird without anything in between, so I did the... Because only these feel very weird, very disjointed, but if I add the notes here, then it feels way better. After I did that, I added this bass. Sort of supposed to be emulating an 808 here, which works very well with this kick, which I have here, which is side-chaining to this, which means it's making the sound of it lower. When this kick plays, the sound of this goes down by like a few decibels, like this. This is how that looks. And then we get like the sort of the feeling of an 808 from that, without actually being an 808, because the 808 wouldn't fit here. And then we have the rest of this, where the drums come in at this part, which is an emulator of like an old 80s drum machine, which I took the Synthwave Kit 1 from, which is, I love this snare, or snares from this style. And then I added my own hi-hat sample, just the default FL Studio hi-hat sample, because I love that thing. And then right here we have, this pattern, which is actually pretty simple. It's a saw wave, which, you know, if you don't know what a waveform is the way sound works on a synthesizer. It's like original synthesizers, this would be an actual electrical pulse, which would make the sound. But now with modern synthesizer, we can have a waveform be basically anything, but I still love a saw. Then I added some resonance, which goes down with this envelope, which just basically means whenever I play this note, it makes the resonance go down really quickly. Which you can also see, pointing at the screen, you can also see right here, whenever I play it, that it goes up a tiny bit. And this also modulates the cutoff, which means how much of the sound's frequency you can hear. Which means you can get this very nice that sound, and then I added some reverb on it just to give it some space. So I could just do. That's something else, but that type of sound you can get from that really easily. From there we have... Yeah, we got this groove that I then had. Which I, personally, I like how groovy this is, how locked in this feels, which is kind of the idea of this, well, not the whole album, but I wanted to make the album feel very locked in with the groove. Which is why there's so much sidechaining, which really helps with locking in a groove. Then we have this synth, which is basically just supposed to be like an alarm. And an alarm, how I did that is like, well, just a saw wave, which is just with some reverb, and then adding more saw waves and detuning each saw wave, giving... Which can sound really nice if you just play chords with it. But if you make it really high, like a C7, which is this, and then go... Which gives you that alarm-esque sound, or like there's an ambulance or something. I don't know. Then yeah, then we introduce that in this part. Of course, also with the same sidechain. And then a bit later, at the 2:24 mark, I add this synth. Which is basically the same thing as I did with that other synth with which I explained earlier, but with a different envelope, meaning the speed of the cutoff going down is slower and has a different curve. And I also added some noise, giving it a bit more high end in there. Which in the groove it feels like this. Of course, also with a sidechain on it. Then right here, I wanted to create like a sort of fake ending. Which here it feels like, okay, we're winding down, that's the end. And then I thought, okay, so here I introduced the fake 808s again. To make you know that this is not over yet, we're not done. We're continuing the song still. So, we do that, and then we volume of everything down. And then we get back to the final part. And I think that's a good ending of that. And then right here, I had a lot of trouble making this sound how I wanted it to. Because originally, the reverb, which is what this is, it's a reverb giving it space. It's adding extra sounds, making the other sounds higher or lower. I don't know which one it is. And adding some delay, giving it the very open now. And also an EQ, taking a lot of the higher frequencies away, making it feel like you're outside of a club or something like to that. And since it's the exact same thing I did here, it kind of feels like the song is just going to keep doing that over and over again, but we don't hear that. So that's 178. That's how that one came to be. And then this song, I'm very, very sad that this one didn't end up working on day one. So I will let you guys hear a little part of it, because I'm working on a fix. It's complicated, but this is how that sounds. Okay, so that has, I had this, which is very interesting, because this is basically, just a normal electric piano, but I added this file, 7 equal divisions of 20, I don't know what the file name is, but what this file does, it changes the keyboard from 12 notes, which is, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, not that, but actually, I should just play it because I can play that stuff. Here, clone, initialize. These are the 12 notes. And if we, that's what we call 12-tone equal temperament. But we don't have to do that. What we have here is 7-tone equal temperament. 2, 3, 4. These are the same notes 1 octave up. But there's only 7 notes between them, which makes sure you can have really interesting harmonies. And up down here, which is not that far down, it already sounds very deep and interesting, very bassy. And this type of sound is not usually explored because most people aren't used to a sound like that. So having just using it and is very unique, and I really wanted to do that. And the detuned angle of it made me think, okay, let's make a lo-fi thing of that, because lo-fi is very based on degraded tapes, on broken stuff, broken tools to make, which has a very solid groove, which also feels very loose. That's what it's supposed to be. And I thought, okay, detune stuff with that fits perfectly. And well, the reason the song is called Rain is pretty obvious. It's the rain in the background, the rain. And so then this sounds like that, and it was really hard to make a melody with 7-tone equal temperament, which I liked, because there aren't really scales for 7-tone equal temperament. Nobody really makes those things because nobody really uses them. So I kind of had to just take the notes of the chords, which I already liked, and kind of improvise some stuff around that, which ended up with this. Not the greatest melody, but for 7-tone equal temperament, I'm pretty proud of it. And, you know, this has this really nice groove to it, I feel. So that's this song. The next song is line 4, Cool Vocal Chops. Okay. Yes. This is the one I want. Give it a second. What I did in this song is I had this loop of some vocal choir. And I thought, this sounds good, but what if I add a transgate, which is this effect, if you ever knew that. Basically just where the audio cuts out at specific intervals, which just gives a choppy feeling. Then I added some reverb to give the chops not that immediate feeling, just more like some open space. Then a limiter for the sidechain. And then up here we have a compressor, which I just add on everything. It just makes... It's a compressor preset which I made myself, which just makes sounds a bit less loud, but gives me more volume control without immediate peaking. So then I had this loop, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna find the notes that are the base of this. So took a bit of playing on my piano in D minor for like how this feel. How I specifically remember how I did that. I tried to find the bass note, which was this, of the first one, and then a very common thing to do is to go 4 up, or I don't know exactly what it's called, but something like that. I don't exactly know what I did, but that so I could get this very deep bass. And then here I introduced the drums alongside the melody, which is an electric piano. Also that lo-fi type drums again. And this here, right here, these you can't hear this normally unless there's a kick. What this does is this kick here controls the volume of this, giving the kick more bass, making the kick feel more in tune. Giving the kick just that extra thing that you don't really notice, but it does a lot of work in the actual mix. And this is, I think, an arpeggio which I made here. Yeah, this is an arpeggio I made. So if I take that off, this is how it sounds normally. This how that sounds, which is, I think, square wave, saw wave, triangle wave, and a square wave, with with some envelope in there, making it feel very floaty. And then I thought, well, this sounds good, but it doesn't really fit in the rhythm. And then I thought, wait, what do I have for rhythm? Well, I have that specific transgate. So why not add that to this? So I have this, so I did that. And then you get this, this now with all those instruments in there. And then right here we have where the almond break gets introduced. I love using the almond break. What I did here is I took an almond break with 137 BPM. I did Stretch Bro and made it so it fits this BPM, which is 2, 3, 4. That's 100 BPM. And I thought, well, I wanted this to fit that same rhythm again, so I added a transgate, but a little less obvious here, and more, forget the name, doesn't matter, more space to go back to the normal volume, which just makes it this, which gives it that a little bit more rhythm, so it fits with, this thing. You can hear how those two lock in. And then right here you just have velocity or volume of the snare going up. And then right here we add a panning hi-hat, which also goes up in volume every single time. So then you get that. This song is sort of supposed to represent like a metro line or something, or just a place where you're sort of zoned out. If you understand what I mean with that. Let's go to In Between, which is breaking that core. Or was it was with an N without a G, because I'm so cool. Breaking that core. Well, as the title of this this file name suggests, it's a breakcore track, which I thought, okay, I want to go from slower tracks to a bit more energetic and more tracks I wanted to make at that time. So I thought, okay, let's make breakcore. That's an in between those two, because here it feels very floaty, I'd say, right here. Very nice, very soft, which is typical. And I thought, okay, I want to introduce more grittier sounds, so here we have the almond break I used, which I just distorted the hell out of, because I used, hold on, let me loop this. Yes, now it's looped. Okay, I don't know how well you can hear my voice right now. This might be a bit too loud. But this clipper right here, the clipper here, what it does, it does the gain way higher, and it sort sort of maximizes the sound, so it can't go higher than a specific point. It just clips off the higher parts, like just like say you have a scissor, you just cut off the top parts of the sound, which gives it that distortion feeling. Then here I added that same compressor again, and here I have some saturation on the low end, so it adds some extra, some overtones, so it's some extra quote-unquote notes in it, which has adds to having it the bassy part of it. I do not know why this EQ is here. I never ended up using it, I think, but that's how this sounds. Which, paired with these two, gives a very, very nice groove, I feel. If you look at the BPM of this song, it's 200, which is pretty fast. But I thought for this song, it kind of fits, because I want it to be that dissonance. Well, not dissonance, but the difference between two things that feels very weird. So this part sort of feels like it's in 100 BPM, and then right here I'm like, which like the half time of 200. If you divide 200 by 2, you get 100. I think most people can do basic math. So, and then adding that on top of it gives the feeling of two things sort of clashing, which I very much like. In general, I'm an enjoyer of breakcore type stuff. This part, I add another synth, which just which is oh yeah, a bit of weird things in here. I did saturation on this. Oh, I didn't make this this synth. Somebody else made this synth. I was gonna say this is way too complicated. I would never do this. This is a preset from my Serum 2. I don't know how high I did it. Yeah, that. I think somewhere around there. Yeah, that. Which gives this sound, which is arpeggiates the chords, which means playing every single note of each chord separately. Which then adds this. And that's basically most things I can say about... Actually, no, I have some other things I can say here. This part here, I did a sort of fake out where it feels like where I added this thing, which I did in every part, which is the reverse version of this, which normally makes you kind of feel like, okay, now the drums are coming. But I didn't do that, and I did it 1 bar later, or 2 bars later, which I enjoyed doing, which was like really fun to make. And then here, something I also did is I detuned every single synth by, I think, 39 cents, which is like just making it, the normal pitch is 440 for us as Western music is the A note is 440, but I changed it so it's 450, which gives it that biting feeling, which I tried to do because a lot of electronic music from the 90s and stuff around there use a detuned synthesizers, so you get a more biting feeling. So I thought, let's do that as well, because I'm very inspired by that sort of stuff in this album. So that's what's it called? In Between. From there we go to the 10th circle, which is called Acid Thingo Woo Yeah. I'm so good at making names. Woo! Acid Thingo Woo Yeah. Right here. Is it 2? No, I don't think it's 2. This is the worst version, right? I think it is. I'm just gonna go grab the other one, see if this one is better. Yeah, this is the one I used. what I did in this song is I tried to emulate that really typical sound of like acid house. So I right here have a very horribly made acid synth, which I detuned by 31 cents. Where I just took a wavetable, which kind of looks like an acid synth. But, and I threw a lot of distortion on there. That's 2 layers of distortion, which gives that... Which gives that, that sound, which I used, here. And then I also put, a clipper on this. So it sounds, nice and distorted. And then right here, I put the sidechain on it, which, you know, I think I explained what sidechain is, but if you don't know, it's lowering the volume of another thing. In this case, the acid synth with this one, this kick, and then adding some hi-hats in there, giving the... very typical sound. And then here I added a sound, which is, what is it called? Trap style vocal. Well, I don't know. Doesn't really matter what it's called. I just use it to give it that sampled sound from the 90s. And here I also add this snare, which I made myself, by the way. It's just noise with some stuff in there. Then you get this this sound. And then right here, yeah, I take the acid synth away, which is very typical of that stuff, because some songs from that time are like 10 minutes long, and it's the only thing that changes every 2 minutes. Now there's hi-hats, now there's vocals, and at like the 12-minute mark, they finally add the acid synth or some stuff like that. So I wanted to recreate that style, but not make it 12 hours long. Here I add another acid synth. Which is basically the same as the first one, just lower and playing a different melody. And then here they're played together. Which gets you that. Okay, now we go to the next song, Heads, which is Them City 178. Them City 178. What I did in this song, I was playing around with my keyboard. And I realized if I play this, which is an interval which you normally use in a chord like this, it sounds really nice. But what if I do this? I think, wow, that sounds real cool. Then I do this, and then do it 1 octave lower. And I'm like, ooh, I can make some cool stuff with this. So I then go like... I think, okay, now I have a sort of basis of this song, which is... to give it that intimidating feeling. You know, I think this seems very powerful and very intimidating. This feels nice, but this feels intimidating as hell. Feels like something is approaching. This was also made for the D&D campaign, and I made this for a monologue, which I think you can imagine somebody monologuing to this. So I did that. And then right here, I add the bass. Which is, if I'm correct, just, just 2 saws. And both kind of detuned. And here we have a very weird panning effect, which I added. Every single note gets, every single note gets panned to a different ear, which you can do in this part of Serum 2, which is every single note that gets played gets done on a different thing. So every 8 notes this loops. So I was like, okay. So it gives that feeling of bouncing between the 2 ears. So then I added that. And then with that underneath, it gets this. Which I think seems very intimidating. That's all I can say about this song. But the next song is basically the same song, but I took it in a different direction. So I took the same, bad instrument, but I took the same thing, and I went in a different direction. I took the same harmony of those 2 notes, which is... And then I thought, okay, I can make an actual, like, battle theme-esque thing with this. So I start here with a... And this also feeling. I just saw that the stream buffered for a bit. My bad. And then I thought, okay, let's add those 2 things as, like, the harmony again. So I had this very weird synth. I found this very weird which basically is like a kick but put in a wavetable format. And then I added that same acid thing again. With this weird LFO. So it gives that which is just controlling the it's controlling this thing, which is the position of the wavetable or the wave the sound, because there's multiple sounds per wavetable. That's 127 sounds per sound actually, and you can scroll through those. And I did that with a sort of automating thing. And here, I added a very basic thing, which is just a saw wave with another wavetable, and both like 10 copies of each, which are all detuned and very high up, giving it the. And it's in a specific key, which makes it sound kind of minor harmonic, which makes it sound kind of like Egyptian-esque. I love it. And then here I took a bit of that away to give it like an in-between part. Didn't even mention the drums here. Hold up. Well, I'll explain what they are. It's Synthwave Kit 1 again, and it's that same snare here. And I added a rim shot underneath to give it more clack. So then you get this sound. And then here I introduce another synth. Which has some... I don't fully understand how I did this again. I don't really remember. But anyway, I made this from it. Added an amplifier on it. Because this is how it sounds normally. And with this, it gives more grit in there. Massive difference. Then I add some reverb and the same compressor again. And then adding that with this, it sounds like this. And then right here I felt, okay, I'm going to duplicate this twice to make it feel like, okay, this is the final part. We're looping it one more time. And then I added this. Which is a very weird LFO on this, which just sort of makes the frequencies that are cut off very, changing really quickly. Oh. That could be a cool bass synth. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. On top of these two things. Which gives you this, the sound that you have here. And then putting that together with the whole mix sounds like that. And that's all I have to say about the attack. Then we go to the next one, which is, Tails. The next one, which is Bullets, which I have a lot to say about, because, Bass City 178, yes. This might take a while to load, because this, song is heavily inspired by, Cyberpunk 2077. I'm taking a sip of my glass of water. Anyway, Cyberpunk 2077, which I'll look up an image for. This is that game, which is very futuristic. It's a very futuristic game, and the music for it was made by. No, here Spotify, just Spotify. Was made by PT something. I don't exactly remember. PT. Well, these three people. And I took heavy inspiration from this specific song. I really like the Cyberpunk OST, so I thought I can take some stuff from this. But I've always wanted to have a specific synth, like this. If I'll go a bit further. I've always wanted to use a synth like that, but I have no clue how to make a synth like that. I am not good at, well, I'm relatively okay at making synths, but not something that sounds like that. So I went onto a specific site. I searched up presets presets Serum 2, I think. Preset share, I got to this. I searched up Cyberpunk 2077, and I got one of these. This one. I got this synth made by Z Jungle Was, or whatever the fuck, I don't know how you want to call him. Which sounds like that. And I thought, okay, I finally have a synth that sounds like that. I can finally do some cool stuff with this. So I downloaded it, and I started making some stuff. I thought, hey, this sounds good. This sounds nice. So let's add some drums to it. Also with that same kick and sine wave thing. Right here, the volume going higher. And now the other synth ducks down for the other one. For the kick. Then you have this hi-hat on top. To add some groove. Right here, I add a clap. There we go. A clap right here. Which is just the default. I don't know if I still have it here. I do not. The default clap from... Is it this? Well, I don't have it. The default clap from FL Studio, but just reversed. Well, not reversed. It's a default clap from FL Studio with a reversed version of itself right in front of it, which is like I think it's called a snapback layer, which makes the sound more impactful. This is how that sounds like in the mix. And then right here we add a lower bass synth of the same bass here to add some bass information. Here I have a panning synth, which I did with this thing again. And then I add, right here, I add pattern 10, which is some Juno stuff, some distortion, a lot of distortion, and some downsampling, so making the quality of it sound less good, which is really good to get like a degrading sound. And then right here, I add the alarm sound effect, which pans from each ear, which sounds very disorientating. But it sounds beautiful on a stereo output. I just wanted to do as much stereo in this song as I could. And here's how that sounds alongside with the other synth. Then here I brief intermission where I did this, and then right here I did like a to give back that give like a bit of anticipation to this. Remove the actual bass and add it back here. Then do the same thing here. I probably shouldn't have repeated this twice, but who cares? And then right here we have the next one, the next synth, which I think is just a no way. It's just a saw wave. Really? There's got to be some effects. Yep, there is some effects on it. It's downsampled again, so the quality of it is less, and it's very distorted before it. Some EQ. And then also some sidechaining again. Don't crash on me. Well, the FL Studio crashed, which is not great. But I still explained everything I wanted to explain about bullets. So that is how I made that song. And I'm very inspired by cyberpunk stuff on this album. Oh, that's me. Close all that. I even have a cyberpunk background on this PC. So yeah, then I did a lot of cyberpunk influenced things. The whole idea was like kind of create a world in my head inspired by cyberpunk. This is in the same general world idea I have with Ace and Spectator. All these three albums, Ace, Spectator, it'll just sounded a lot better. And it's in the same general universe as Spectator, which is in another city, and Ace, which is deep underwater in an ocean and stuff. But that's not important. We go to the final thing I really want to see show, and maybe we'll do some other stuff later. Iron Angel. The title of this album is based on this song, and I'm really proud of this song. I made this song from the basis of a specific. I'm gonna restart my entire thing. I want to say there. Oh, buffering. Yeah, I can tell it's buffering, but hold up. Let me check if I can fix some stuff about that. Hold up. Technical. Is this technical difficult? Please hold. Yeah, please hold. Well, you'll your Iron Angel have that.
Iron Angel, 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 Iron Angel.
No buffering anymore, I can see. So, I guess we'll just continue with this then. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, event list. Hold up, I need to fix some other very minor things. Yeah, okay, that's that. Well, I started with, Nexus, which, sample thing. Huh?
Angel.
Which is where you can have a lot of instruments in that. It's an amazing thing, by the way. I love using this thing.
Angel.
And I was like playing around with this on my keyboard, which is
Touch. Sure. Guess. Learn. Repulsion.
and I think, can I do some stuff with this? Can I find some stuff?
Extra tomorrow. Angel. Sir. Angel.
And I heard Angel. I was like, okay, I can do some stuff with that.
Ocean. Ready. Sure. Word. Guess. Learn. Touch. Search. Swap. Does. Talk. Rhythm. Was. Wash. Iron.
And I thought, Iron, hold up.
Iron. Tomorrow. Iron. Angel. Iron. Iron. Angel. Iron. Angel. Iron.
And I thought, okay, I was playing around with that and was like,
Angel.
what can I do with that? Can I have some like sort of lyrics? And I was like, okay, so
Iron. Angel.
I made this.
Iron. Angel. Iron. Angel.
And then I was like, okay, this fits with like some sort of metal-esque thing. So I started with this. With a nice deep bass, then a synth bass on top of that. I was like, okay, now the metal part, add a guitar. I was like, okay, this feels very tacky. So let's add the second guitar, which gave it a very nice sound. Because it's so distorted that it just takes over the entire high end, which gives you this sound.
Iron Angel. Iron Angel. Iron Angel. Iron Angel.
And then I have the almond break again. Sliced up this time because I took another sample and I did some stuff with it. And then we get this. Then adding that together, we get this.
Iron Angel. 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 Heaven was built. Iron.
Yes, okay, so we get that. This part was very much inspired by... I'll just search up Ultra Kill OSD. Yeah, Ultra Kill OSD, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Mila, mooi. Oh, hold up. Gotta get this with Spotify. Ultra Kill. Yes, OST full. With which songs shall I take? I'll just take Altars of Apostasy. I tried to get some sounds like that, and I thought, well, getting that sound is very easy with an almond break in there. So I did that. I added an almond break. And then I thought, okay, what other lyrics can I do? Well, let me play around a bit. I got heaven, and then it was heaven was built. I can do some stuff with that. Heaven was built. Iron is danger, and that stuff. And then I is danger. Just a bit of reinforcing. Then right here we have the bullet. Iron. Wonder. Fun fact, this part came before I made this part, and then they hear the it was you. Then at this part I introduce this pluck thing. Well, it's not per se a pluck. It's more very bizarre, but it's a Celeste. It's a Celeste. Celeste. I don't know. It's not. It doesn't sound like. If I just take away the distortion, it doesn't not sound like what it sounds like now. But if I add distortion, you get this. The. And I thought, well, that sounds nice. So adding that together, you get this. I already explained this part, and this part, bridges are supposed to feel different. So at this part, I added the bridge, and I thought, okay, so I'm gonna take only the guitar, and I'm gonna make the drums very slow. Which I did just with resample. And then, of course, the lyrics, which are not that interesting. And then here, the whole thing again. And then here, a reversed version of this. Which is, fun fact, an electric piano with a ton of distortion on it. But in the mix, it sounds like this. And then here we have the final part, which transitions into one of my earlier songs, fun fact, Pulse. I had a very cool ending to that song, and I thought, well, I like that sound, but I do not know where I got it from. Let's just import the entire song again, and then just take that final part. And so I did that. And then that's how I made Iron Angel the song. Let's also just look at how I made the video, the music video, which I'm hoping most of you saw, but it was so cool to make. We went to Den Bosch, and from there, I took a couple of videos every single time we went back to the parking garage. I took some videos. I thought, okay, let's make this kind of like Fentanyl, because I love the video clip they made for their newest single. So I thought, okay, let's take some low quality shots, put them all in the same thing. If I just mute the song right now. Take some low quality shots, zoom them in a bit, add some noise later. And well, this is how that looks in the beginnings. Just some cool shots here. Then right here, I take a shot from some swans I saw there, which is cool. Also, all the Den Bosch here. Then right here, I take a stock footage of the moon, which I then zoom in a ton. Yeah, here's just some more shots of my hometown. Under the bridge of my hometown, which I love this shot. It looks so cool. Then here is zoom in on a thing in Den Bosch again. And then right here, this part I slowed down for the music video so I can get some more time in there. So I can get myself walking towards that. And then afterwards, I added some color grading, just making the colors look a bit nicer. And adding some noise, and then we get the final music video. So that's how I did that. That's basically how I made this album. I can quickly show some other stuff, or just quickly, actually, real quick, make a small little song, because that's just fun to do. And then I think that's the end of this stream. Is it loading, or, Yes, it loaded, nice. Nexus 1. Okay, let's do, this as the first chord, I say. This will be the first chord. Actually, no. I think I'm just gonna end stream. I don't really feel like doing more. Also, talking about how I do my creative stuff in general is not that interesting. So, yeah, I think that's the end of the stream. Also, my final sip of water. So, yeah, thank you for watching. And, yeah, later.